This is Tom Gabriel Warrior, formerly of Hellhammer and Celtic Frost, now Triptykon, and you're watching Search and Destroy. In the creation of this album, I wasn't disturbed by human conflict like it was the case when we did Monotheist in Celtic Frost, where a lot of my energy was needed in order to try to keep the band together and to try to steer through human conflict. And Triptykon is actually a band of friends, and we could focus all our energy on making the album and not on human garbage. So I think it's a much more direct statement. And musically it's probably slightly more primitive than Monotheist, which suits me very well. I like the heaviness, the aggression, the darkness. Well, yeah, but primitive to me is not a curse word. Primitive to me is something nice. Hellhammer were very primitive, and Hellhammer have influenced my entire life. Primitive in extreme metal to me is equal with power, with aggression. And I'm not a very technical musician. I rely much more on moods, on atmosphere. And, so primitive to me is something good. I continuously create, I continuously write music. I began working on Triptykon's first album even when Celtic Frost was still together. It was going to be a Celtic Frost album, and I constantly write music, I constantly write lyrics. On the other hand, nothing happens by coincidence. I don't do things by accident or haphazardly. Of course, everything I do has to have a concept and has to have a reason and some depth to it, and so Triptykon's album is very much a part of that. Well, you never know what's going to come. I don't know, but I hope so. I wanted Celtic Frost to stay together for a long time. I wanted to record many more albums with Celtic Frost. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible. I have formed now a new band. I don't really want to form a new band every 5 years or so. I will do whatever I can to keep this band together. I think everybody in Triptykon wants the same thing. We have a fantastic relationship among each other. And if everything goes the way we want it to go, then we will hopefully be together for a long time and record many more albums. And I certainly don't plan on forming yet a new band when I'm like 60, you know. I very much would like Triptykon to be a long-lasting band that develops its style over the years. It's not that I don't feel happy about it. It's extremely flattering. It feels uncomfortable to have so much attention bestowed upon me. I don't walk through life thinking I'm an innovator or whatever people call me. If you ask me how I see myself, I'm simply a heavy metal fan, a lifelong heavy metal fan, who's extremely passionate about this music. There's this You cannot say it in any other way. There's a fire burning inside of me for this music. I've dedicated my entire life to this music, and I have dreamed of making this music myself, and I've started doing that. But that's the end of the story. I see myself as a metal fan who also plays music. And all the other things, all the really big words that are applied to me, they're applied from the outside. I don't live like that, you know. I'm a normal human being, just like you and everybody else. I'm passionate about this music, just like you, apparently, and the fans that are here tonight. And it just feels uncomfortable. People use such big words for me that, you know, that has nothing to do with the way I live. I live like a normal human being. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail. I'm very, very far from perfect, like everybody else, you know.
Would you think that those labels put extra pressure on you to create something?
If I would take them seriously, yeah, but I don't take them seriously. They're labels that other people put on me. I don't see myself like that, and when I work on an album, I don't think of these things. I don't walk around thinking, yeah, Tom is the innovator. That's furthest from my mind. That's not the way I function. When I sit down for an album, I'm in a deeply personal mood. I usually write at night when I'm totally focused and I don't think anything else but music. And I don't think of how the fans will like this or how the media liked it. I don't think what kind of names have been given to me. I just think of the music. This is the way I write. Entrevista is my most personal album. That's the reason. Well, already in the old Celtic Frost in the 1980s, we expanded to a 4-piece. The more complex our albums became, the more did we need another guitar player to reproduce them on stage. The core of the band was always 3 people, but we soon switched to a 4-piece. So playing in a 4-piece is nothing new for me. It actually feels very comfortable if actually the chemistry between the members is right, and in Triptykon it's perfect. You know, none of us, I think, ever thinks of the age. The end of Celtic Frost was very difficult. We had radical personal disagreements. I felt deeply betrayed. I felt the Celtic Frost was ruined by the ego trip of one member, by the inability of one member to control his raging ego and his anger, and by not controlling it, destroying everything, because you have to work closely as a team in a band, especially on the road or in studio, where you're constantly together. So when I formed Triptykon, I didn't care for anything. I didn't care for the age or whatever. I cared for what kind of personality does this person have. Does this person have an ego trip, or is this person down to earth? Is this person like a friend? And whether my new musicians would have been 60 or 20, I really didn't care. And I'm quite confident I can say the same of my musicians. I don't think they care how old I am. We work perfectly as a band. We are a unit. We are a family, and that's like day and night to how it was in Celtic Frost. So the age is never really an issue inside the band. It works perfectly right now. We all hope that it's going to stay like that for a long time. It is extremely personal, of course, and it's to me it's also the most important track on the album, of course. It's maybe not revenge. It's simply I wrote down my feelings. I wrote the lyrics for this song in the month that I left Celtic Frost. I was in Norway working with 1349 in a studio that's very remote in the forest, far away from civilization. And I just was overwhelmed by all these feelings of having left Celtic Frost and of anger, disappointment, pain, this frustration. And I wrote these lyrics down. I knew I had to somehow get rid of these feelings. And I wrote the lyrics down, and later on I wrote the music for the song. It is, of course, a statement. It's like almost like a photo of a certain moment in my life. A very bitter moment, a very painful moment, but I think it has become one of the most significant songs I've ever written, for me personally at least. And we play it every night in concert. No, you can't say that. In spite of the end of Celtic Frost, I'm immensely proud of what we've accomplished in Celtic Frost. And Celtic Frost was extremely important for my life. It shaped my life as it is. It has made me who I am. And Hellhammer equally so. I think every one of these bands had a very important place in my life. Triptykon is very important to me now. But no, I don't think I would be who I am without any of these bands. If we get a reasonable offer, of course. I've told our concert agency we want to tour. We want to tour everywhere. We've already gone to Japan. We've toured all over Europe. We've toured in North America. Of course, if Mexico will have me back, some of the best shows I've ever played were in Mexico. So yeah, anytime. It doesn't just depend on me, you know. But yeah, of course, Triptykon. I think we're very eager to play in the southern part of the Americas. Yeah. I don't see why not. Well, we get tons of mails from Mexico and other South American countries on our websites, and as I said, I mean, the last Celtic Frost show in Mexico City, for example, also was a fantastic show. The fans were amazing. I'd be crazy not to want to go back there. Well, if you give me this chance, I would just like to say thank you for giving me a chance still and being so loyal and listening to new music. It's not something I take for granted. I know a lot of people probably found it difficult to understand why I left Celtic Frost, or still find it difficult, and it takes a lot, of course, a lot of open-mindedness to approach my new band, but we've had fantastic reactions, and I just want to thank the people for that.
Search and destroy.